known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Carmine Bianco, and this is Stoppage Time, the World Cup edition. We are into the match day 3 segment of this tournament, and a lot of big games coming up. A lot of teams needing wins to get into the top 2 spots in their groups. We're going to cover 3 big games that will go today, tomorrow, and on Thursday in the show. And with me, from WagerTalk.com, it's Nick Borrman and Kevin Dolan. And of course, from Sports Memo, one of my favorite guys there, Pavlos Laguretos. Pavlos, you look in such a much better mood. Man, you had the emo vibe going on last week's show, but you're looking good today, man. Things must be up for you. Let us know what is going on and what you have up at Sports Memo.
Yeah, things been going really well in this in match day 2 matches. I went 5-0 in my 4% and 5% plays. It's I didn't lost a single one. I had a push yesterday with Brazil -1, but still I'll take it. So it's been going really good with this big plays. I have another one for tomorrow. It's a same game parlay. Of course, you can find it everywhere in every major sportsbook, FanDuel, DraftKings, and all the major sportsbooks. They offer same game parlays, so head over to my page and grab it. I do have a lot of plays loaded as well for tonight. Some of them are props. Props have been going really nice as well. Some of them, card props have been going really well as well. I'm very happy to talk some soccer with you guys because this is the final match day, and there's a lot of traps and a lot of opportunities to be taking advantage of.
They definitely is, and 3 of the games before I go to our Wager Talk guys that we are going to cover. We're going to do Wales and England today. We're going to do Poland and Argentina. And then we're going to finish it off with Croatia and Belgium, where it's a win and get in scenario as well too. Nick, 3 big games, man. How are things? And are you looking forward to match day 3?
Yeah, of course. I took a lot of group futures before the World Cup began, so this is like a weird situation for me. I look at each game and I'm like, oh, I want to bet it, but I'm like, oh, you know what? I already got 3 or 4% on, something in this game already, because it seems like almost every group has a game that's basically deciding, who gets in, who wins the group, blah blah blah. So I'm trying to tread lightly and not double up. It's tempting to, of course, but then I also can shoot myself in the foot and double down, if you will. So I am treading a little lighter here in this week and finding different ways to attack it, maybe some goal scorer stuff, some same game parlays as Pavlos mentioned. But I do have, even like, action on, I have Netherlands to win the group. So I'm sitting pretty there. There's no reason to bet the Netherlands-Qatar match, because they should, if the world is a just place, they should be able to take care of the host nation and win that group. So it's just things like that where I'm like, all right, well, no need to throw extra action on it, but I'm looking forward to a lot of these games. I'll find whatever I can in some other angles, and maybe just play for a lot more pizza money in round 3 and hope to hit some 10-1 type of payout in one of these games.
Yeah, I get the thought process as well too. I look at that as well too. When you've already got one going for your clients and long-term clients, you don't want to sort of double dip on a game, and in the event it goes south instead of north. So I get that, Kev.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with the time change and these games? Everything going well there?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Like catching the early games, tend to watch the later games the next morning on the old DVR. But I have to say, one of my favorite things over the weekend, if anyone missed it, was this Canelo versus Messi beef that's been brewing over on Twitter. I don't know, if you've caught that, but Messi. If you missed it, basically Messi was seen with a Mexican jersey on the floor. He kind of put his foot in it and rubbed it on the floor. Canelo went crazy on Twitter. he said, "You better hope that I never see you, because he'll get slapped." And then Sergio Aguero jumped in to defend Messi. He's like, "Look, Canelo, relax. It's just part of soccer." And then Canelo actually replied to Sergio Aguero, "I won't use the same language that he used, but he said if he doesn't pipe down, he's getting slapped as well." So it's all blowing up. And then I'm not sure if it's real or fake, but Messi posted up on his IG. As I said, Canelo seemed to think that it was real for the fact that he retweeted it on Twitter. But it just showed like a mop with a Mexican jersey as the head, and someone's mopping the floor with it. So I'm all about a Canelo versus Messi super fight in Las Vegas in May. But in terms of the World Cup, it's been really good to me over the last week. 11-5 run right now. And got a big 5% top play kicking off later today as well. So, yeah, looking forward to that, and, another great week ahead as well.
Yeah, these guys just love making the news. Canelo doesn't have to do much to make the news because he is a star. But then you got like these guys like Conor McGregor, who just wants to be relevant all the time. Sorry, Kev, that I have to say that, but I think he hasn't won an actual fight in the last 8-9 years, but he knows how to market himself, so that's the important thing. But with that said, guys, let's get right to it. First game on the card, Wales and England. The odds on this one: Wales plus 600, the draw is plus 280, England minus 182. Those are the openers. Kev, I'm going to go right back to you first on this one. Coming into this tournament, I didn't pick Wales to finish in the top 2 spots. I thought it would be England and the USA. That still has a shot of happening should England be able to beat Iran. And, of course, England takes care of business. This has just been a bad tournament for this Wales team. Gareth Bale, other than that, obviously that penalty kick against the US, he's been non-existent in this tournament. And this is a guy who didn't get a lot of minutes to start with, and moved to the MLS to play for LAFC, and even there he didn't get many minutes. Give me your thoughts on this match. Is this a straightforward England win here?
I think so, Carmine. I actually wrote a free play on this game earlier this morning, actually, over at WagerTalk, and basically I said, a bit like Scotland in last summer's Euros against England, that if this was in pretty much any other scenario, I'd usually be quite happy to take a piece of Wales in this spot. They've got that whole intense rivalry that exists between the nations on that island. Probably the island to the left as well partakes in that as well. But, and just as we saw in last summer's Euros, Scottish fans were celebrating that draw in Wembley like they'd won the Euros. So it means a lot to them. I really wanted to take Wales in this spot because of that. But I just can't do it here, as I think this situation sets up much better for England today. Wales simply, they have to go for it tonight to have any chance. I believe if they win, 4-0, they'll go through. But, I just don't see that happening. While the Welsh do have goal scorers in their squad, no doubt, it's not to the level anywhere near what England have. And the other factor for me in this one as well is, Gareth Southgate's, he's under the spotlight here. He's obviously been rubbished by the press after the Nations League exit a few months ago. Last summer's lost to Italy as well. Then he comes and beats Iran 6-2. Then he's a mastermind, a genius. Now he's suddenly back to being useless again by the press because England couldn't score against the USA. And, he's just getting hounded constantly to start some of these bench players, namely Phil Foden, but there are other players as well. So I think because of that spotlight, I reckon he will cave here. Foden is due to get the start. And possibly some other players off the bench as well. And, they're going to be absolutely chomping at the bit, to put in a great performance because, if they can generate something here, put in a great performance, suddenly that starting 11 spot for the knockout rounds is theirs. So, as I said, in pretty much any other scenario, I'd be looking at, back Wales in this spot, in a domestic kind of UK showdown. But with the fact Wales have to go for it here, they have to try and generate something on offense. That'll likely only play into England's hands here, plus the fact England will likely be handing start some bench players, as we said. And look, England need a win as well, to make sure they finish top. So I think that all sets up for an English win and cover later tonight, -1 against Wales.
All right, Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. Nick, I'm going to go to you next on this one. And he did mention, England needs to win to guarantee locking up first spot. Coming into this tournament, who would have thought that a scenario exists where if England get a draw today and Iran, because we saw one of the U.S. players get questioned on the pronunciation. If Iran is to beat the U.S. in this game, they could go top of the group. I don't even know what their odds were at the beginning of this tournament to win the group, but that possibility actually exists on match day 3. Give us your thoughts on this game.
Yes, it does. And I have a feeling today I will disagree and go toe-to-toe with Kevin more often than not. But this game is one I do agree with Kevin on a lot of the points he made. One thing I think that gets overlooked, or maybe not overlooked, but overestimated by most people is, you get games like France, for example. Kevin mentioned, if different players are rotating in for England here, even though they still do have to win. But you got a France game where they don't necessarily have to win and they rotate players. And those top teams are so deep that it doesn't really matter if they get in the next guys. They're going to be eager to play, and they're going to be able to do just as well as that front team. So I'm not too worried about if there is any rotation, but I doubt there will be much. But Kevin mentioned there is a scenario where Wales perhaps could qualify, and that is basically a blowout win. So again, Kevin is right in the fact that if this was in any other scenario, if this is the first game, if this is another type of qualifier, if this is anything else, I'm looking at taking the plus goals. I'm looking at taking the under here because that's how these two teams generally will play each other. But in this situation where Wales basically has one option, and that's to go for goal, then I see this playing out, in a bad way for them because they're not built to do that. And England, knowing that, can basically just punch them in the gut and sit back a little bit and let Wales try to push forward and make that mistake. And they got so much speed, they'll just counter right back. And I think it's going to play right into England's hands. So I like England to win. I agree with Kevin there. But I also like my favorite play on this is over 2.5 goals simply because of that. I think Wales is going to have to go for it, like I said, and England's going to be able to counter very, very easily. I don't see this playing out as a very tight, cagey affair simply because, Wales is not going to let that happen. They can't afford to. And, I think both teams will have plenty of chances because of that. It's hard to see anything else. I mean, you could look at taking a same-game parlay on this too with just pairing England with the over and turn this into a little bit of a plus money play. But I don't mind just taking the over 2.5 goals. It's a small price right now. I think it's even money, maybe minus 105 at most books. And I just think we're going to see chances here. Just the situation is too good not to see some chances in an open match here. So over for me, guys.
All right, Nick Borrman, Wager Talk with the over, which gives Pavlos the final word on this. Pavlos, if we go with Nick's over and we go with Kevin's England -1, how about a 3-0 at plus 900 odds, considering Wales doesn't find the back of the net? That could be a winner. Give me your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, I love all of your plays, guys, especially that 3-0, maybe 2-0, but 3-0, because one of us has the over. However, this is not a good spot for Wales. They now have to go in a British type of civil war against England, if you will. They need a win. They need to win by, I think, 4 goals or more in order to qualify. That's not going to happen. England, I think they're going to bench Harry Kane because he's having a slight injury problem. Foden is coming in. I like Foden to score any time, actually at plus 250. I think, he's probably going to terrorize this Wales defense. I was reading the news. Maybe they say that maybe Bale or Aaron Ramsey will not even start in this match. So I'm not really sure what to expect of Wales. But as Nick said, this Wales side is not built to score goals. It's built to, withstand the pressure, concede as many goals as possible and just maybe score one and maybe get a draw. So in this case, I think it will turn really, really badly for Wales because if they open up, and they do have to open up in search for a win, England will destroy them. So I like England win 2-0 at plus 110. I think that's a very realistic scenario here. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. I don't care by how much they win, but I do want them to win. So England win 2-0 for me, plus 110. But again, just a couple of props if you wanna play them. Phil Foden to score any time at plus 250 at DraftKings. Maybe Bale to be carded at plus 410 in his farewell in the World Cup. It's probably his final match. He's gonna be frustrated if Wales are losing. So but the most realistic and straightforward play is England win 2-0 at plus 110.
All right. I like it, Pavlos. And yeah, if you guys watching this either live or later on taped, it's really important to keep an eye on each and every group to see whether these match day 3 games have any importance at all to the team. Because if they don't, you're going to see some lineup rotation. And there's nothing worse than laying a number with a team and then finding out that 70% of their lineup are the bench guys. So I think that's very important that you guys always forecast whether the games are important or not. Let's have a quick recap of what the guys liked in this one, and we'll pop them up on the screen. So Kev with England -1. Pavlos is on England win to 0, and Nick likes the over 2.5. There's a way for each one of those guys to get there with a 3-0 England win at +900. You heard it here first. All right, boys, let's head into a Wednesday fixture and another one with, obviously, this one we're going to see every starter, every regular in the starting lineup as Poland take on Argentina with a lot on the line here. Poland +550. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Poland +550. The draw +320. Argentina -223. Again, these are the openers. Kev, I'm going to go right back to you on this one. Argentina gets upset on match day 1, losing to Saudi Arabia 2-1, putting them in a position where they had to beat Mexico, had to beat Poland. They've completed the first half of that daily double. Can they do it in the second one?
First of all, I'll just say, I love the way it absolutely pains Nick to agree with me. It's almost like, Nick, what did I do to you, man? What did I do to you to make you feel that bad about me? But I have to look towards taking the over in this one, Carmine. Argentina, look, they know what they need to do here. They need to win, simple as that. They can't rely on a draw, because of what could happen in the other Saudi Arabia-Mexico game. So, looking at Poland's recent form, they have been solid defensively. They've kept 4 clean sheets in the last 4 games. But, in this series, 11 internationals played against Argentina. They've never kept a clean sheet. So, with this being a shackles-off type of affair, Argentina are averaging the most goals in the group. They're averaging the most shots in the group. They're averaging the most shots on target in the group as well. They're coming here to win. No other result will likely do for them. So, when you factor in all that in, for me, I just don't see, for as good as Poland have been defensively, how they shut out Argentina here. Those 4 clean sheets of Poland came against Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Chile, and Wales. Those aren't Argentina. And the last time they've faced sides of this caliber, at this type of level, Netherlands put 4 past them over 2 games in the Nations League. Belgium put 7 past them earlier this year over 2 legs in the Nations League as well. So, as I said, I just don't see Poland being able to keep a fired-up Argentina side quiet in this one. Perhaps maybe if the drafting Canelo as a Polish citizen before game time, who knows? But, who knows what kind of confidence on the other side that will have given Robert Lewandowski. He finally broke his World Cup duck against Saudi Arabia last time out, so he might get on the score sheet at the other end. We know Poland have the attacking capability to threaten Argentina in this one as well. So I see goals in this one. Poland might initially look to play it safe here because of the position they're in the table, but I don't see them keeping Argentina out here. And because of that, once that deadlock breaks, I believe this game will open up and we see 3 goals plus in this one.
All right, Kevin Dolan, Wager Talk. Nick, I'm going to go to you next on this one. And again, for you guys out there watching this either live or taped, there's such an interesting scenario in play in this group on the final match day as far as tiebreakers go. Let's put this scenario out there. If Argentina were to beat Poland 2-0 and Mexico beats Saudi Arabia by that same scoreline of 2-0, Argentina advances, Mexico and Poland are then tied, and they will literally go to the 5th or 6th tiebreaker, because the first is there's no head-to-head. That's UEFA. So it's total points in the group, tied. Goal differential, tied. Total goals scored, tied. Total goals conceded, tied. It will literally go down to, because their head-to-head was a scoreless draw, it will literally go down to the fair play yellow card and red card rules. And right now, Mexico have 6 yellow cards. Poland has 4. And we've seen this scenario play out in World Cups past where a team gets in on a tiebreaker because they had fewer yellow cards. It is a crazy scenario. And in case you're wondering, if they're tied on yellow cards, they just draw a name out of a hat or something like that. Nick?
Very sophisticated. Very sophisticated. I can imagine the inside the locker room before the game. All right, guys. They're reviewing the scenario you just laid out there, Carmen. Just remember, don't put your spikes up in anybody's shin because we can't afford to get the card. We are winning that 5th level tiebreak right now. You guys got it? All right, ready? Break. Let's go. How motivating is that for the guys going out in the field? But it's a true scenario. So Kevin, he says a lot of good points. I don't agree with any of them. But there is a way that both of us can get home in this match because I am looking at taking a same-game parlay, Argentina, and under 3.5 goals. And really, to me, it's hard to see anything but an Argentina win. I mean, think about everybody that was panicked after that first loss to Saudi Arabia, right? I mean, there was a lot of money, obviously, in Argentina to win this thing. And everybody was quickly going, oh, there goes that. But I'm here to calm everybody's nerves. Do not fret. Argentina will be in the knockout rounds. It'll start with a win here over Poland. And just to show how close this group is, it's funny. They could easily be out of the knockout rounds if they fail to win this match. But if they win this match, they're going to win the group. So it seems I like that scenario the best. I think they're going to be able to cover the line. It's -1. Maybe Poland can play them tough. I think they can maybe keep them to a 1-goal win. But I just don't see many things that keep Argentina out of the winner's circle here. Poland, I do agree with the fact that Poland is not going to be able to contain Argentina. Kevin is right about that. Argentina has looked very, very good offensively. Even though they only scored that 1 goal against Saudi Arabia, they generated a lot of chances in that match. They had the ball a ton, obviously, against the Arab nation. And they rebounded. They actually looked a lot worse offensively in that tougher Mexico match. They had a lot of possession there, but Mexico did a great job watching that game of just pressing those guys on their own side of the field, and it was kind of just wasted possession for Argentina. They couldn't get forward. It took a long time until that first goal that Messi scored happened, and really, Mexico probably could have deserved a result out of that match. But anyway, I don't see Poland playing that style here with Argentina. It's a roadmap for them, but I don't trust that their defense could do as well as Mexico. I don't think they have the same type of aggressive players or speed on that side. And what worries me for Poland is, they beat Saudi Arabia 2-0, but they allowed a whopping 16 shots in that match. Saudi Arabia had 64% possession in that game, and you're going to give the ball to Argentina here over 90 minutes. Eventually, they're going to wear you down enough to get their looks. On the flip side, I don't see Poland getting a lot of chances here simply because I think Argentina is going to have the ball. And Argentina have been very, very, very good defensively, even though they did allow those 2 goals to Saudi Arabia. It was on 3 total shots in that game. The chances were, it was a once-in-a-generation win, let's be honest. And they didn't have really many quality chances in that game. And they did the same thing against Mexico. Mexico did not have many quality chances in that game. I think Argentina's been one of the best defenses so far that we've seen in the 2 games thus far. So I see an Argentina win, and it could probably be low scoring. It could be a 2-0 type of game. Maybe Poland gets on the board at 2-1, but I just don't see anything over at 4 goals or more. So this thing could end on 3 goals, and Argentina wins, and then Kevin and I are both happy. But I'm going to take the combo play of Argentina just to win and under 3.5 goals. And for anybody watching that wonders where do you get that line at, if you go to DraftKings, for example, they have a section called Same Game Parlays, and it's right in there. It'll be under the result and total goals market. Other books like FanDuel, you can build your own parlay with this, and you just simply grab Argentina money line, and then you go to the goals section, find under 3.5 goals, and put them together in a parlay. So each book's a little different, but DraftKings is kind of the most annoying, where if you try to build the parlay, it won't let you. You have to go specifically to the game parlays section. But Argentina and under 3.5 for me.
All right. Thank you, Nick, for the clarification, because that's one of the questions we get asked a lot with some of these wagers is how do we find these? I know like the Brazil yesterday, a -1, you can find them at DraftKings. You have to literally search under the category. If you click on the game, there's a category called spread total, and you'll find the Asian lines there, and Brazil -1 was there. FanDuel doesn't deal with straight -1s and -2s, so it's a little different there. It makes it much more difficult as far as books go. Pavlos, I'm giving you the final word on this one. We got Kev, who likes the over, Nick, who likes Argentina, and the under. Give us your thoughts.
This is a very tricky group. First of all, we've seen a lot of weird stuff. Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia. Poland having the best defense in the group with no goals conceded so far. Mexico haven't scored a single goal. This is just weird. So there was a scenario in my brain before the start of the World Cup that I want to see a final between Argentina and Brazil. Now, everybody, me included, had Argentina and Brazil both to finish first and win their groups. Now, if that's the case, they will meet against each other in the semifinals. Now, if Argentina somehow finish second, and it's not, it's not an out of this world scenario for Argentina to finish second. If they have a draw against Poland and Saudi Arabia don't beat Mexico, then Argentina are through as second. So here's my my question: are Argentina really fearing Brazil that much, so they will intentionally try to finish second in order to avoid meeting with them in the semifinals? Okay, let's take a look at that scenario. If they finish second, they're going to have to play probably France in the rounds of 16. Then they're going to have to play England, and then maybe Croatia, Germany, or Portugal. So. Well, if they finish first, they're probably going to have just this match against Brazil, which is going to be a really hard match. If they finish second, in order to avoid Brazil, I think they're going to have an even more, a tougher path to the final. So I don't really like that way of thinking. I just had to get it out there, play, devil's advocate on myself. I do think that this match is going to be a very careful one between the two sides. Poland, again, I didn't expect them to keep 2 clean sheets after 2 matches, and Argentina is surely going to be their toughest task defensively so far. Now, I do expect both teams to be very, very careful in that first half, and that is why I'm taking the first half draw at plus 126. Now, a goalless draw, a 1-1 draw get us there. I think it's going to be a goalless draw, to be honest. I think Poland have no reason to open up and allow Argentina to play their game. We might see a lot of fouls. We might see a lot of cards because, Poland's midfield, Krychowiak and Bielik, they haven't got a card yet, and these are 2 very card-friendly, midfielders. But let's not talk about props. I think this is going to have a lot of fouls, it's going to be a cagey first half. So I don't really think it's going to open up all that much. I like the first half draw at plus 126 and maybe some card props because, again, this is the 3rd match and final match of the group stage. The stakes are high, and both these teams, both Poland and Argentina, they have players who can, really set fire to this match in terms of kicking and fouling. So, and with Dan Makely on the whistle, I think there's going to be some cards here. But I think the safest way to approach this is taking the first half draw plus 126. I think that's a fair price for a very possible outcome in that first half.
All right, Pavlos, good luck with that. Out of all these plays, I'm going to side with my Irishman, Kevin Dolan, only because I literally want to see a big, and my apologies to the rest of the guys on the panel, I want to see Argentina go through with a big score line. So, and I like that teams that build throughout a tournament, and that has to be Argentina, considering they lost their first game. There's nowhere to go but up. So we'll see what happens on match day 3 in this one. But let's have a look at the recap of this one. We got Kev on the over 2.5, Nick on Argentina, and the under 3.5. Argentina 3-0 gets it there, and Pavlos with the first half draw. So scoreless at the half, 3-0 final, and all 3 of you guys win, and everyone is happy. All right, boys, let's head over to the final game, and this one goes on Thursday. Croatia and Belgium, a win and you're in scenario here. Croatia, let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Plus 210 in this one. The draw is plus 250. Belgium, who were group favorites and now could end up exiting this tournament, are plus 130. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Give me your thoughts. There were rumors after the last game that Kevin De Bruyne got into an argument with 2 or 3 of his players in confrontation, but the news is that it's all fake news. We don't know, but they can't be happy about the way they're playing right now.
Definitely not, Carmine. And I'm going to keep this one short for me. Belgium have been a dumpster fire. There's no other way to get around it. Even though they've got 3 points, they scraped that very fortunate win against Canada. Should have lost that game. Got manhandled by Morocco last time out as well. So I can definitely understand people's trepidation about laying hard-earned money on this team right now. But in my opinion, saying that, look, buy low, sell high, as they say, you're simply never going to get a cheaper price on a team of this quality despite all their issues, which is what Belgium are. I mean, they have an unbelievable team, number 2 in the world rankings, number 1 up until a couple of months ago as well. And you're getting them here at a straight pick and price against, I'm a big fan of Croatia. I backed them last time out against Canada, but they're an aging squad nonetheless. And I just like to say on a side note too, Luka Modric, what a player. He's still underrated in my opinion. But that aside, the only thing I'll say ahead of this game, so I like Belgium a pick 'em, but I was on a 9-3 run in the World Cup up to yesterday. Now I'm 11-5. Those 3 losses, 2 of them came on this Belgium side. So maybe I'm not the guy to listen to when it comes to backing this team. But like I said, this is last chance saloon for them this week. I'm not into small sample sizes. Teams have bad days at the office. And as you said, this team were group favourites going in. You'd have to imagine if there's anything left in the tank, it comes out here, must-win territory. So, look, I'll roll the dice in this team one last time, see where it takes me. So, I got to take Belgium at this price, straight pick 'em on Thursday against Croatia.
All right, Kev. It's going to be an interesting game, and I'd love to see Belgium obviously advance into the next stage. Nick, I'm going to give you the next word on this. And one of the things that we've seen in this tournament is with some players that have come in injured or weren't completely fit in this tournament, much like with Germany, Leroy Sané, and he got into the last game, and Germany looked a hell of a lot better against Spain when he was in there. And it's the same scenario here with Belgium. Romelu Lukaku came in the last 10 minutes of that game against Morocco. It's a question mark on whether this guy is fully fit and can start the game, but they need him in there. But regardless of whether he's in or not, how are you looking at this game?
No, thank you on taking Belgium here. Kevin mentioned Croatia is an aging squad. Well, Belgium, what do you think they are? They're OAF as too. They're joint oldest team in this tournament, along with Canada, average age of 29. So their generation is going down. Their golden generation did not do anything that it was supposed to do. They never showed up in big tournaments, and this is a scenario I see them choking right out of here and not even qualifying for the knockout rounds, embarrassingly enough. And maybe they do. I just don't want to put my money on them. I just don't trust them right now. I've seen nothing from them in their first 2 games. The one thing I will say is that what I have probably misread in this group is underestimating the Moroccan side. They've been really strong in their 2 games and looked very good in both of their matches. So, because I first looked at the result with Croatia struggling against Morocco, and I thought, maybe that second game Canada is going to give Croatia a little bit of trouble based on what we saw in the first matches and how good Canada looked over Belgium. But then, Morocco, they really dominated Belgium in that second matchup, and Croatia, they gave up that first goal to Canada, but they took over that game as well. And it kind of reassured in my head that, Croatia's done this before. We know what they did in 2018. Belgium just has never done it before. They just cannot win a game when they need to win a game, and I cannot put my money on them to do so here. So I'm going back to another same game parlay here. Croatia, Carmine, you mentioned win and get in. Well, Croatia obviously doesn't have to win to get in either. They can simply draw this game, and in fact, they could also lose it and still get in a couple scenarios as well. But draw to get in for Croatia, I think, is good enough for me, and I can get the double chance, which the double chance is a Croatia or draw, also listed as plus a half a goal, and under 3.5, because I think this thing is going to be very, very cagey. There's a lot on the line for both of these teams, and one goal it likely will make all the difference in this matchup. So I'm going back to that same game parlay. I mentioned where you can find these before, but I'm taking Croatia double chance, which is a win or a draw, and under 3.5 goals. And you get a pretty good price on it right now, about -120. There's nothing right now that wants me to get my money on Belgium. I don't trust them. They've failed me before. They've failed it not only in this tournament, but in every major European tournament. I've watched them since they started with this team back in 2014. So not doing it here. Croatia, I think, will move on from this match, and I like that combo play.
All right, Nick Borrman, Wager Talk. Nick, I really like that play as well too. I took almost a similar one with a win-draw scenario with one team and an outright win with the other, and it came in. I just don't. It's just I don't know what's going on with this Belgium team. They and Pavlos, I'm going to go to you for the final word on this, but they have wasted a generation of talent. It's just unbelievable. And it's not as if their manager isn't a good one, but they just, with guys like Lukaku, the guys like Kevin De Bruyne, just so much talent on this team from the back up, and they just can't seem to win anything, losing to France in the semifinals. The Euros, 2 Euros back, losing to Italy. The Euros this time around, losing to Italy again. They just can't seem to put it together and win one, and they're always ranked number 1 or number 2, and that's why the FIFA rankings sometimes I feel are an utter joke, that a team that can't win a trophy is ranked as high, but it's because of the talent of this team. Give me your thoughts. Last kick at the can for some of these guys, Pavlos.
Yeah, both sides though. Both sides. Both sides have aging rosters. I think Belgium are in much more deeper trouble, because yes, they do have a couple of players in every line. They have a couple of defenders who are up and coming, a couple of midfielders as well. Their forwards have been, besides Lukaku, yes, Batshuayi has been kind of good, I guess, but the next generation of Belgians is all about the midfield, and I think it will take some time for them to build such a strong squad, at least on paper. Now, Croatia showed two very different faces in their 2 matches so far. Against Morocco, they were tasteless, saltless. You call them whatever you want. They were probably, very scared not to lose against a Morocco side that were also scared not to lose. A goalless draw was the normal result. However, in their second match, actually, in the first match, I should say that they started Kramaric up front as their striker, which didn't really work out for them. He was invisible in that match. He didn't do anything, not a single shot on target. He didn't help his teammates at all. But in the second match, they used him as a winger. They used him at the right flank, and they used Livaja up front. Livaja scored 1 goal. Kramaric scored 2. He was, if I had to rate him, he had like a 4 out of 10 in the first match and a 9 out of 10 in the second match. So I think if they were more careful in where they should deploy Kramaric, because he's instrumental for this offense. Yes, they have like 4 or 5 strikers. They can use any one of them, but it shouldn't be Kramaric. Kramaric should be right on one flank, Perisic on the other, and they're going to create some problems on this Belgian side, because I've been saying this, throughout the whole tournament. This Belgian defense is slow as hell with Vertonghen and Alderweireld. No matter who they pick, it's an talented guys. Yes, they can pass. Yes, but they can't really turn that easily. And I think this Croatian offense, if deployed correctly, they can cause a lot of problems in Belgium. If they score 1 goal, the Belgians will, start to realize that they're out of this World Cup. I think this is going to be more like a very, very careful match. Again, I'm going to take the first half draw at plus 106. I think Croatia don't really want Belgium to get up 1 goal, because Belgium, they can drop a second and a third one in a good day. And Belgium don't really want to concede the first goal, because then Croatia will probably park the bus, start kicking, Belgians in the neck, getting a lot of cards, depriving them of passageways to their own goal. So I see a very careful match here. First half draw at plus 106 in my perspective. But I wouldn't be surprised if Belgium crashed and burned. They were exposed by Canada's speed in the flanks. They were exposed by Morocco's speed in the flanks. Croatia don't have that much speed in the flanks, but they have a lot of quality there. So I won't have a big play in that match, because it's a strange match to predict. But I think there's going to be very, very few goals, if any. in that first half. So I like the first half to draw at plus 102.
All right, there you have it. 3 games: Wales, England, Poland, Argentina, Croatia, and Belgium. Let's look at the recap of this final one for the guys on Belgium and Croatia. Nick's on Croatia or draw, double result, and under 3.5. Pavlos, first half draw plus 105, and Kevin with Belgium at a pick'em minus 110. Guys, just a couple notes before I close off the show. The World Cup package is up on everyone's page. You can get the whole tournament. I have reduced it to $119 for the rest of the tournament, right through the finals. That includes any 5% play the guys have loaded up. I have one going tomorrow, so you can pick up the whole tournament package for $119 instead of $35. And of course, today is Tuesday, so it is $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. $2 Tuesdays where you can pick up a featured cappers plays for only $2, and these are plays that normally go for $25 and $35. Over at WagerTalk, it is Akeem Prophet. He has a 5% NBA top play up, his first one of the season. And then, of course, over at Sports Memo, where they have 3 guys for $5 or $2 for each capper. Rob Vincelletti has a CFB 5% play. Jesse Schul with an NFL 5% play. And JM Sports with a college basketball 5% play. Get those for $2 each or all 3 for $5. Guys, we're going to be back on Thursday. The group stage is over, but the knockout stages start. We're going to cover 3 games in the knockout stages that go on the weekend. And then, of course, we're going to take Tuesday off as there will be no games midweek, but we will be back on the following Thursday, and we will do some quarterfinal games. We really appreciate you guys tuning in each and every time. Hit that like button for the guys and head over to WagerTalk and Sports Memo. We'll pick up some packages. For myself, Nick Borrman, Kevin Dolan, and Pavlos Laguretos, this is Stoppage Time. Thank you for tuning in.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.